Tara with BNN. My question is regarding the ban on oil and gas development in the Arctic. Now, some northern leaders are saying that they weren't properly consulted and that they need those jobs and that economic development. What would you say to them?
The Government of Canada has announced a historic agreement to protect vulnerable Arctic ecosystems from offshore oil and gas exploration and drilling. And we've done this in harmony with the United States that has done exactly the same thing. This is something that is going to make a difference not just today, but for generations to come as we have protected our Arctic from the potential impact of devastating environmental catastrophes. As we know, the consequences of a deep water spill under Arctic sea ice are unimaginable for communities and for the ecosystems of the Arctic. We have been engaged in significant northern consultations over the past months. We've had Mary Simon and a number of top people engaged with consultations on economic development in the north. And I spoke myself to the 3 territorial leaders and a number of Indigenous leaders over the past few days to inform them of this opportunity we had to protect the Arctic for future generations, and we are moving forward on it. At the same time, their concern very much was, we understand that, but we also need economic development in the north to help people succeed, to help people thrive, to create the growth and the opportunity for our communities and our families here. And I absolutely agree, and that's why we've committed to working with those communities to create infrastructure investments, to create opportunities for fishing, for science, for a broad range of economic activities that will benefit the north in immediate ways. The issue with Arctic offshore oil and gas exploration was there is nothing currently going on. There hasn't been something visible on the horizon of significant benefit to Indigenous communities in the near or even medium-term future. So what we're focused on right now is how we grow and strengthen those communities right now, because right now is when they need the help.
Okay, one more question. Up until this week, you've been fairly circumspect when commenting on the incoming U.S. election president. And this week, it seems that you're taking a bit of a harder stance, saying that you're not going to hesitate to protect Canadian interests. Do you see a shifting dynamic in Canadian-U.S. relations? I
have always been extremely clear and extremely consistent in how I approach the U.S. Electoral cycle. I repeated many times throughout the campaign, to the dismay of many folks in your business, that I would not make any pronouncements on the U.S. electoral race, and that I would work with whomever Americans chose to be their president. And I certainly am staying consistent in that. My job is to stand up for Canadian interests and represent Canadian values, and I will continue to do that regardless of which leader I'm working with on the world stage. We know how integrated and how interdependent the Canadian and American economies are, and I look forward to working closely and collaboratively with multiple levels of government, including the incoming administration, to advance the cause that is near and dear to my heart, which is growth for the middle class and those working hard to join it.